So, we finished Operation 006, and it's time to move on to Operation 007. Things are really serious right now.
Alice, Margarita status report.
Plasma particle density down to 87%. Some sort of jamming signal is affecting the superreactors. It's destabilizing energy output.
So Luca's claims about his pendant were true. Geathjerk is taking full advantage of its abilities. Alice, what do we know about this Gimmy's ship?
It's flying to the northeast at flank speed. The projected flight path will bring it directly over Blossom City.
Then there's only one thing they can be after. Full power, Alice. Don't let that ship get away.
Roger that. Contrail sonar to maximum sensitivity. Main engines ramping to full power. Virgin Victory, full speed ahead.
Nelson's gonna fly this bird to pieces. Something must have just gone from bad to worse.
Your mission's gonna be just as bad, son. Red, you sure you want to go through with this?
More than ever. Prince Vorkken and the entire planet are counting on us.
Dagnabbit. You remind me of a certain someone when he was a lick younger. I won't be wasting our time trying to change your mind.
Red,
Lamorta, I want you to stay here and hold Vorken's hand. I'll take a team into his body and exterminate this nano-bioweapon once and for all.
Is this really the time for heroics?
It's now or never. We'll complete the operation and get back as soon as we can.
Now, I've been around the block once or twice, but I ain't never heard of nothing like this. You're lucky I invented my nano itself. But micronizing humans and injecting them into an alien's body? Well, it's crazier than a sack of foaming weasels, I say.
Ooh, I am more worried about trusting ourselves to one of Le Professeur's frightening contraptions.
Nobody asks your opinion, Frere Jacques.
I don't know how to thank you. All this for my brother.
Ain't no thing. What's the point of sitting on our butts waiting around to catch up with some enemy ship? Come on already, let's do this.
Blue.
Pink, even as we speak, the Virgin Victory is pursuing Gimmy's flagship. I give you my word. We'll capture the ship and get Luca back.
I hope so. Oh, Pink has not been right since we lost Luca. Hopefully the sights that await inside her beloved Vorkken will knock her out of this slump.
You cannot blame her, especially after what happened to her little brother.
Well, for better or worse, the nano drive's ready to go. Enter the circle, wonderful 100. I doubt I have to remind you, but you got a hard time limit. Here goes nothing, kids. Activating Nano Excel.
Team, Nano Dive!
Roger!
Yes, that is indeed right. Operation 007 is the innards of Prince Vorkken. So, we get to go inside Vorkken for all those people who are desperately wanting to do that. Like Pink, but I don't think Pink's exactly in the right frame of mind right now to get excited. Now, there's a few little things about that cutscene that we just saw which are a little bit odd. So there's the mention of what happened to Pink's little brother. That's not really covered at all in the rest of the game, and I can't even remember, really, if it is in her bio. I mean, it could be in her wonderful file, because I've not read that yet. But I don't seem to recall reading anything relating to her little brother, but I would assume something to the effect of her little brother got killed in a Geathjerk invasion is probably quite accurate. And then I can't quite remember what else I was going to mention about the section, but I should probably mention, now that we're in Vorkken's innards, that this starting phase is not quite as awe-inspiringly fun as it probably could be, because right at the beginning here, you have got these Dogoos and Chudogoos that you have got to defeat. However, you only have 10 wonderful ones going into this operation. So what you need to do is to kind of whittle them down and recruit them to your cause. The safest way to do that is generally to unite hand them, but then if you've gotten spiked guts, then that will pretty much get them to a point where you can recruit them immediately, and it's really helpful. Yeah, I have to. I really like that they decided to kind of go for this inside someone kind of trope, because it doesn't really happen that often. I mean, I think there is precedent for it in kind of Power Rangers, Super Sentai kind of things. I just can't remember any, but there's certainly precedent in Hideki Kamiya's previous works. Mostly in Okami. I can't think of it happening in anything else, but going inside something happened twice in Okami. So the first instance is going inside the Emperor of oh god, I can't even remember what it's called. It's like Seanku. It's the big city area. To go inside him, and you also go inside the water dragon. You will understand more what I mean when I eventually record Okami, unless you've already played Okami, in which case you know exactly what I'm talking about. So that's kind of, I think, where part of the decision to go here comes from, particularly the Emperor's insides, because it's a very similar motif of going inside someone's body to remove a dastardly creature that is trying to killing them. There's no trying about it, they're succeeding. Oh, now I've remembered what that thing was that I was going to mention about that opening cutscene for this operation. Professor Shirogane says that we have a hard time limit, so that there is absolutely no way that we can take our time. However, by hard limit, it's literally hard limit in terms of the plot, nothing in terms of actual gameplay. You can literally spend however long you'd like in this operation. However, when it comes to the boss, that's when a time limit does come into force. But at that point, the plot is the plot requires that's the case. Otherwise, just take your time with this operation. I mean, the way that Operation 007 works is much different to any of the other operations in the game, because all of the others are split into A, B, C, whereas Operation 007 is only split into an A and a B. Which you may think is really bizarre, but it's just the way it works. Also, if you come over here, you can get a Hero Heart fragment, which, if you've been following along, means we have a full Hero Heart. Oh yes! Love it. Actually, that was a rather aggressive way of me saying love it. I apologise. Now, at this point... Oh good, we do have enough people to get in. It is possible to not have enough wonderful ones to get into that wonderful toilet right now. Don't worry. It is possible... Well, you will be able to go into it after a later point in the level, but you'll find out the reason behind that then. Yes, they do indeed all look like drills, and they are painful drills that can really, really screw you over. Like, seriously, I mean, they don't necessarily hurt, but they can really kind of slow down your progress, because you get stuck. Well, you get hit, and then you fall off, and then you have to do this entire climb all over again, which is not fun. Now, on this platform, I believe is a... it's a file, or it's something of some description, that is hidden. Essentially, if you see all these kind of glowing spots on the ground that we're on, if you go behind the area where you have to climb, there is one of these kind of holes which you can send your wonderful ones into. And upon doing so, you will get what it is that's in there. I can't remember what's in there. It's a collectible of some importance, let's put it that way. Oh, come on, get down, stop it. Otherwise I will seriously get down on it. Yes, I used that joke again. I'm sorry. I am merely repeating what Red does whenever he meets up with people with his insane memory, which may or may not be a teleprompter. Don't know. I would assume it's something along the lines of having like an eidetic memory or something. Either that or kind of photographic memory? I can't remember what the terminology is anymore. I know eidetics, certainly one of the terms for really, really, really bloody good memory. It's like you can just look at something and just memorise it. It's like, damn you. I envy people who have that type of memory. It made things so much simpler. So much simpler. Especially on the degree that I'm doing, which generally requires a lot of memorising of quotes, because you need those to make your argument. Either way, I have said that this entire operation really isn't that difficult. I mean, to be perfectly honest, the rest, up until kind of final operation, really, things are really not that difficult. Now you can just see the hole that you're meant to send things down just under that archway. I'm gonna miss it right now, I believe. Am I? Pretty sure I'm gonna miss it, because I know for a fact that I got it later. I feel kind of embarrassed now, because I was literally just walking, just in front of it. I was standing right there, and yet I screwed up. Either way, another thing that is rather irritating about this operation is that there are frequent moments where you're going to have to backtrack to get things. The first of which is right here. So as soon as you have finished that fight there by the archway, you've got to run all the way back to the beginning to get a Kakurega. Because that's always fun. Just look at the amount of distance we've got to cover to get to the thing. And even then, it's blooming disguised on the green and yellow platform. It's like, you meanies, why are you hiding it there? God. But either way, it's time for this Kakurega, which once again requires the use of items to be successful. Mostly because it means that you can collect your these dogus and bring the pain. Although kind of having all these other enemies here can cause you some grief if you aren't prepared. Now once again I don't know whether I've stated it before, but I will certainly state it now. All of the underground hidden items in the Kakuregas count towards your final score. Well, count towards the Master Stomper bottle cap. So, even though I'm not going to do it here, I really should have done. But when you are in these Kakuregas, make sure that you get every single one of the underground items, because you need, if you want that bottle cap, you are going to have to get them. And if you decide to do that, that means you never have to come back into the Kakurega ever again after having completed it. Unless you decide to try and do it on harder difficulty, in which case you do have to return to the Kakurega, but the challenge is definitely different. Well, at least different in some way. Generally the method of the challenge changes rather than the enemies themselves, like whereas it's defeat all enemies here, theoretically it could be like defeat all enemies with limited unite morphs, or kind of in the time limit or something, and they generally change it like that. So the general gist of the Kakurega is the same, but the challenge is more difficult, really. Yes, that was an excellent place to send those that bomb. It just like exactly where I was aiming for, right above the tiny Tumik K. I think it's Tumik K, or they are tiny Tumiks, and then the big ones are Tumik K. I don't know. Thankfully, kind of the, well, reasonably helpful thing about the treasure sensor is that it will kind of turn off when you've got everything. So you should be able to find everything, even if you are struggling, but you really seriously need the treasure sensor to stand a chance. Either way, I wish we could take these dogus out into the actual battlefield with us, because it would make things so much simpler, really, wouldn't it? Then I guess it's just not to be, really. Also, I have to say, it's rather disconcerting that Vorkken has Vorkie has all of these Geathjerk creatures in his body. Like, I mean, how long have these guys been in here? Or is this how the Geathjerk survive, that they are parasitic life forms that kind of live inside host bodies, which is rather disturbing. It's not actually something that I've thought about before, but it is really bizarre that he's got all these Geathjerk in his body. I mean, it's just like the drill bacteria makes sense. They're essentially kind of like things that are trying to protect the body, almost. But yeah, it's the existence of Geathjerk here is rather disconcerting for his well-being. I'm surprised they haven't killed him off sooner, really. But either way, you may have realised things are going to get a little bit hairy right now, because we've got these drill things coming at us. And we don't have any way of, you know, dodging or deflecting them right now. Literally, we are going to get hit by them if we aren't careful. So, just be very, very, very careful right now, because otherwise things could end badly because of those drills. It's like, also these platforms just move far too swiftly for my liking, I think. Of course we've got another one of these guys. I mean, seriously, the spikes on the ground, surely that's not painful. I mean, to be perfectly honest, surely everything we're doing in here is painful right now. I mean, good grief. We're causing havoc in Vorkkee's innards. I'm surprised he can really kind of survive. I'm surprised we haven't killed him off yet. And I suspect it's going to get worse. I know it's going to get worse because I played it. Just like, yeah, I suppose it's going to get worse, because, I mean, we've got to face a boss. But, yeah, what we're doing in here is really, really violent for doing stuff inside people. And now I've just realised quite how wrong that sentence just sounded. Oh well, it's fine, it's all in the fun of it. Green was pulling the same thing. Oh god, that means my humour is as juvenile as Green's. Oh, bloody hell. I do also find it really amusing, the kind of... Even being so far into the game as we are pretty much heading into the kind of final stretch. They're still managing to find French stereotypes to take the mickey out of. Because like, you would have thought that they would have run out very quickly, but nope, they're still going strong. And every single insult at Wondergreen is different. But I'm quite a fan of the Should It Frere Jacques. Just because it reminds me of, obviously, well, it makes me think of the Frere Jacques, dormez-vous, dormez-vous. And I can't really remember the other bit, because it's just ingrained in my head as something like Shome Lakatina. And then you got the ding dang dong, ding dang dong. But the middle bit, I don't know why, but that bit has just vanished from my memory and is just kind of filled with gobbledygook. I mean, it kind of falls under the whole misheard lyrics things, because there's plenty of times where you listen to something and what it sounds like they said is completely different to what they actually said. It's frequently because certain singers don't put much emphasis on diction, so sometimes it can be a challenge to tell what they're trying to say. Although saying that, my diction's not great. Although I'd like to think most of the time you can understand what the hell I'm saying, even when I do decide to go into whatever weird accents my brain decides it's a good idea to go into. Well, saying that, I haven't really gone into any random accents from what I can recall recently. other than going into Scottish because I've been singing a bit of the Proclaimers a lot recently. And by recently I mean when recording the commentary, not necessarily when this goes up. Although I would assume I will probably still be singing Proclaimers songs at that point. Either way, after breaking off those platforms, it's time to continue, and we're gonna reach a point where we're not actually able to do anything, because, I mean, just look at that. How the hell are we meant to get forward through that? It's like, seriously. We're screwed. Or are we? Yep, that's right. Chugi's here. Now the bottle cap that was just there, for today, for tomorrow, you get that for recruiting 500 enemies to your team. And apparently, Chugi and Co count, which I'm quite grateful for, actually.
You bite off more than you can chew. Wonderful Won-stoppable.
If it isn't the heir to the throne of the roaming Rulo, leader of the space pirate band known across the universe as the Geathjerk, Prince Vorkken's first mate, Chugi, and company.
Oh, do you remember all that?
What the heck are you guys doing here? Wait, don't tell me you're here to help this dude too.
We have no obligation to save Vorkken.
Then what Immortus said is true.
Indeed, we were nothing more than slaves under Vorkken's rule. He took hostages from our home planets, and thus bent us to his will.
Slaves?
Vorkken traveled the known galaxy, demanding duels with the strongest warriors from each planet he visited. He never lost a fight, and the vanquished were made to join his space pirates. This is how we were forced into service. He told us the slightest disobedience would mean the destruction of our homeworlds.
How do your homes fare?
Curiously, Vorkken had placed attack satellites in orbit around our worlds to monitor them. Yet we received word that these have all vanished. He must have deactivated their attack protocols before our final battle.
Wait, Pretty Boy turned them off?
Why would he do that?
Until we return to our homeworlds, we cannot be sure they're safe. But first, we must repay our debt to you. You set us free. We cannot leave while you remain in danger. So say we all.
Chugi, you're an honorable man.
We shall fight together. That is, if you are willing to join forces with the agents of your invaders, of course.
Ah, such a shame. We should love to have you, of course. But sadly, that would require the nod of consent from Wonder Blue. Wonderful one extraordinaire.
Why not? As long as the boss is down, I'm down.
Oh, you see. Once again, Blue takes it upon himself to ruin a perfect... What?
Reinforcements are always welcome. You have our thanks, Chugi.
Very good. But remember, once the bioweapon is stopped, we must return to our homes at once.
Remember, once again, allow me to express our deepest gratitude and respect.
Yo, boss, let's vaccinate this freaking thing. We got bigger fish to fry.
Indeed we do. Team, let's move.
Roger.